Hello, colleagues. I am Ryan Ruckel, and I have been called upon to reflect for a few moments on the fine art of getting the most out of students. And I know that many of you are quite excellent at this and practice it on a daily basis. So there's nothing better than coming to orientation to find out you're already doing a great job, right? So here are some things that we kicked around and thought there are so many different ways we could talk about this, but here are some things, not in any particular order. It would be false to try to enforce an order upon them. And I wanted you to think a minute with me about teaching as not some of the things we often think of it as, missionary work or counseling or coaching or advising. Or it's a lot of those things, all those things, but also think about teaching as leadership. We are practicing the art of interpersonal leadership, trying to get these individuals from where they are to where they want to be or need to be. And that really is the root word for the word educate, educator, and education. It's the same word we get the word Duke from. So we're really all about this act of changing lives that Dr. Brearwood is always challenging us to do, and that the college has been supporting us in doing successfully for many years now. That is, we are leading people from where they are to where they need to be, and they are growing and changing and gaining competencies and other things along the way. So what are some things that I think that's what we do a lot of with these students? And here are 5 things on thinking of education as leadership. Recognize, listen, believe, empower, and encourage. These are all things that all of us do in different ways on a daily basis. So I hope it'll be fun to think about them a little bit. Recognize. To add value to others, one must first value others, said John Maxwell. And I really appreciate that quote. That's where a lot of us are in this work, because we love people, we care about them, we care about our communities, our state, our country. We want to see people find their way in life and grow into their talents and abilities. And it's just one of the most exciting things ever to be able to look into a person's life, sometimes on just a spare word or phrase, sometimes after weeks or years of getting to know them, and see for them things that they were afraid to admit for themselves are great qualities, or that they didn't know were there. It also works in reverse, like the time Terry advised a student for several sessions, and finally none of it was adding up. She wanted to be in a dental program, but she didn't have any of the other skills or motivations that seemed to be able to compete to get in. And Terry looked at her and said, "Do you like teeth?" The girl really didn't. She needed to recognize that about herself. Love our programs, want to send all the students there who want to go, but you don't want us to send you ones you don't want, who don't want to be there. So that's a big part of what we do, isn't it? And having worked specifically with honor societies with Phi Theta Kappa and seeing what it means to an individual long before an induction ceremony, that's great. That's what we think of as recognition, but that's really honoring them. Really, the recognition is when we have looked in their life and seen them as an overcoming, persistent person who has a great work ethic and who has earned grades in spite of. Right? That when people are seen in their place in life and understood for some of what they've gone through and some of what their potentials are, it just changes everything. It meant so much to one woman that early back when we had first gotten started with things with honors and with Phi Theta Kappa, a girl's mother who had cancer, terminal cancer, it turned out, drove all night in the rain from Houston to be able to be at her induction ceremony to hand her pin that she had been awarded back when she had herself been inducted. And I'm crying now, but we cried then. And it's that moment of being seen and understood had changed her life. And she wanted so to pass that on to her daughter. It's just one example. And I love and salute all of you for all the ways you do this as second nature every day. It's a lot of fun. Recognize. Number 2 is listen. The truth is, of course, that what one calls the interruptions are precisely one's real life, the life God is sending one day by day. C.S. Lewis wrote that in a letter, and when I read it, I thought that's really me. I'm always 30 days behind and trying to make myself get over my ADD and focus on the task at hand. And I want an open door and keep one, but oftentimes someone comes in and I think, oh no, not you, not now. I need to be doing all of these other things as of yesterday. But I have really tried to not do that. I've really tried to, over my career, to stop what I'm doing, sit down, take the time and listen. And I can tell you that when I've managed to do that, those have been the moments. Those have been the times when I learned something I wouldn't have learned. You know, that we have them come to our office and all they know is that they need something, and they may not be in touch with that. They are guided by some primordial desire to see you, to get help, and there they are, and they can't tell you why, and they don't know, but they need something. And you, wonderful artisans that you are, when you take the time to listen and to hear what is really going on and to apply that together with recognition and help that individual find their way, it's a wonderful thing. Recognize, listen, believe. Treat people as if they were what they ought to be, and you help them become what they are capable of being. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, the German writer from a couple of centuries ago. What a great statement about holding out expectations for others, personal expectations, but also professional expectations. And I know there are cheat artists and liars and plagiarists and scammers and all those out there. There's our student that one day campus police brought us an ID and said, "Do you know this student?" And we said, "Well, yeah, we sure did." And we called them in, and the thing was, you see, they had 2 of those IDs for getting into places they weren't supposed to. So yeah, it's real out there. But what we're also talking about is the art of community college teaching, which is that we don't bend the expectations. We hold out the expectation because they're going to need that level of competent performance at some point. And so our work, which is the hardest in all of teaching, is to get individuals from where they are to that point, providing them the scaffolding, the structure, the guidance, the correction along the way to get there. So expecting, really believing in them is holding out high standards and expectations for their character as well as for their abilities, and then helping them get there. Recognize, listen, believe, empower. The function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers, said Ralph Nader. And that really is, in a nutshell, what we're trying to do as educators. We're trying to lead them, our students, to a place where they can lead themselves and then lead others. We're trying to get them to a place of self-assuredness, where they know how to study, where they know when an essay is effective, when they know that they know it, and they can teach it to others, and they can act upon it with, as I keep saying, competence. So much of what we're trying to do is lead them to this place, not of dependence, but of independence. So recognizing, listening, believing, empowering. A lot of what we do is we work with students. We give them a job. We expect them to do it, but we also give them the tools, the guidance they need, and serve as a resource without us doing it for them so that they do it. Recognize, listen, believe, empower, and encourage. A leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say, "We did it ourselves." Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese wisdom writer. Well, I'm not sure I totally agree with Lao Tzu on that, because I really want him to turn around and say thank you a lot. Or really, I guess I just want it to matter. But I really want them to turn around and give to the Alumni Foundation and come back and support the school and be involved. We want all those things. I want them to know that we worked hard and gave them something. But it's also true that we want them to get to a place where they really believe they're the ones doing it, because they have learned what they do and it becomes second nature to them, whatever it is, whatever discipline it is. But I thought that one needed a little balance, so I'll leave you with this thought. A leader takes people where they want to go. A great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but should want to go. Rosalind Carter. So that probably more than anything sums up our work as educators, isn't it? We're trying to get people to a place they really need to be, that they may not believe they can get to, that they may think is unnecessary, that has steps along the way that may seem to be going in the wrong direction. And all the while, we've got to inspire in them a confidence that all is going to be well if they will but listen to us. Right? So good luck out there. Have an excellent year, and love and appreciate all of you. Thank you for listening.